Gracie Hall Roosevelt was the youngest brother of First Lady of the United States Eleanor Roosevelt and a nephew of President Theodore Roosevelt. He was usually called Hall. Early life. G. Hall Roosevelt was born on June 28, 1891 to Elliott Bullock Roosevelt and Anna Rebecca Hall. His uncle was Theodore Roosevelt, Jr. and his grandmother was Martha Bullock. Through his sister Eleanor, Franklin Delano Roosevelt was his brother-in-law, and through his father, his fifth cousin once removed. He was also the uncle of Elliott Roosevelt. He was named Gracie for his father's aunt, Anna Bullock, and her husband, James Gracie, and Hall for his mother's family. When Hall was 1 year old, his mother died, and his father died shortly after his 3rd birthday. He and Eleanor were then reared by the grandmother at her estate in Tivoli, New York. Before his death, Eleanor's father had implored her to act as a mother towards her toddler brother, and it was a request she made good upon for the rest of Hall's life. While at Tivoli, Eleanor doted on Hall, and when he enrolled at Groton in 1907, Eleanor accompanied him as a chaperone. While he was attending Groton, she wrote her brother almost daily, but always felt a touch of guilt that Hall had not had a fuller childhood. She took pleasure in Hall's brilliant performance at school, and was proud of his many academic accomplishments, which included a master's degree in engineering from Harvard. Career. Hall was tapped for service in the municipal government of Detroit by Mayor Frank Murphy. Hall was named chairman of a mayoral committee on unemployment, and in January 1931 he was appointed city controller. Personal life. At 21 years old, Hall married Margaret Richardson, a young woman he met at school, and together they had 3 children: Henry Parrish Roosevelt, Daniel Stewart Roosevelt, Eleanor Roosevelt. When Hall wanted to seek a divorce in 1925, it was only with Eleanor's approval that he followed through with his decision. In the late 1920s, Hall married again and found work in the railroad industry. Hall had 3 children from his second marriage to Dorothy Kemp: Amy Roosevelt, Diana Roosevelt, Janet Roosevelt. In 1937, Hall sought a divorce from his second wife. By this point, alcoholism, a problem he shared with his father, had come to dominate Hall's existence, and he was unable to hold down any job he was offered. He spent the last few years of his life in a small building on the Hyde Park estate, and he died in September 1941 at age 50. Roosevelt's funeral was held in the White House, and his body was then transported to Tivoli, New York, where he was entombed in the Hall family vault in the St. Paul's Episcopal Churchyard. Eleanor Roosevelt would survive her brother by 21 years.